What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. As you can see, if you're watching us tonight, you'll be hearing us. We are out one tonight. Our boy Mason is out for tonight, so he will be missed. But as we've said before, whenever Kolton's been out for business, or if I don't know if I've ever been out yet, but there's going to be a time where I can't make it. The show goes on. So it is me and Bulldog bringing the what was we trying to say here? Bringing the facts, bringing the heat tonight, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So we've already had we've actually went live twice this week. The one we did go live was Wednesday night, and we're going to kind of piggyback off that a little bit and talk a little bit Kentucky on the win for the ones who didn't get to hop into our live. But wow, man, what a game! I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch the first half, so whenever we're talking about the first half stuff, Kolton's going to kind of lead that because I was not able to watch the first half, which may be a good thing, is what I've heard. But so the Cats, as the one I'm sure everybody knows, comes out on top with a final second shot from Colin Chandler to Malachi Marino, three-quarter court pass. Malachi Marino catches it at the free throw line, turns around, makes the shot to give the Cats their second SEC win to move to 2-2 and 11-6 on the season. They won of a score 75-74. Just kind of some quick stats here. From what I've heard, Andre Yelovich was our star player pretty much that first half. He finished with 11 total points. He had an 8 on the plus-minus side. Malachi Marino finished with 10 points, 2 assists, 2 steals. And then he also added 8 rebounds. Otega Oweh is just continuing this. He's starting to get back to where he once was at the end of the season. He finished with 21 total points. He also threw in there 4 rebounds. Then you had Denzel Aberdeen, who had another good game, 17 total points, 4 assists. And then after that, it kind of takes a dramatic fall off. But overall, those numbers are good. For Kentucky, as far as turnovers go, we had 16 to LSU 11. We had 11 second chance points to LSU's 8. And then our bench was outscored by LSU's bench 17 to 11. As far as I guess one of the biggest stats, we can't get on here and not talk about our 3-point field goal percentage. In the second half alone, let's just do total then. For the total, looking at us, we were 10 for 23, and 8 of the 10 came in the second half. We were 8 for 11, Kolton, from 3 at 72% in the second half, opposed to our 2 for 12 at 16.7% in the first half. So, Kolton, just real quick, walk us through the biggest things for the first half, kind of what stood out to you, and then we can kind of collectively bring this together in the second half, talk about moving forward, but go for it.
Yeah, so obviously there were some lineup changes with Andre Yelovich and Cam Williams getting the start in this game, which, we thought was pretty crazy considering that Yelovich had not even played at all the first 2 SEC games, and now within your 4th SEC game, he's a starter. So, obviously, whether there's things going on, that we kind of talked about tonight that might have caused him to get the start, or Pope's just searching for something.
Tell him, I mean, it's out there. So
yeah, we saw that there was maybe something that had to do with Diabate possibly missing a film session or something, or being late to a film session. So if that was the case, obviously Diabate has only played like He's averaged just 12 minutes, I think, the last 2 games
He
or something like
played
that, or played
well,
what
he played
how
11
many.
minutes and 47 seconds
Yeah, so he
into the
just
game.
played pretty much 12 minutes about each game, the last 2 games, which is pretty, kinda crazy considering, like, how much he was supposed to be kind of an impact on our team, and he
We
seems
spent
to
$2
be.
million on him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he seems to be healthy, like, I don't think it's because of, like, his health, so it could very well been something like that. Regardless, though, Yelovich was the bright spot in the first half. He made a couple shots. He seemed to be everywhere, get a few rebounds. You could see him growing in confidence, which was big because before the year started, after the first couple games, even though they weren't playing up to their standard and they weren't really standing out, we've had Chad on here before, and like me and Chad were talking about how like Cam Williams and Yelovich are like the 2 NBA type bodies on the team. And Moreno will get his chances. Like I said, like the before JQ come back, we were just talking about like how Cam Williams is this like 6'7", 6'8" athletic guard, like can shoot. And then Yelovich is that stretch 4 that seems to be making it in the NBA these days. Right, the guy that can step out and shoot the three, the guy that kind of has the IQ a little bit, can do different things. So he was the only bright spot we had, but still, I mean, we scored 1 field goal in the first 11 minutes.
Yeah.
How many times have we said this season? Right? How many
Well, the
times have we
biggest
had to
lead,
go through those droughts?
I'm trying to look at the biggest lead,
Then we got down 18. I think it
we
was
got down
40 to
18.
22.
Yeah, 18. And that was when the second half at the 19:22 mark, we were down 18 points.
Yeah, we were down.
So,
Yep, not in the second half we got down. Yeah, I mean it was just so you get down that much, and obviously we'll talk about just the comeback and how awesome the second half was. But the first half was once again just a lot of just bad shooting. We went what 2 for 12, 2 for 12 from 3 in the first half. I
mhm.
mean, just so bad shooting and a lot of not
Well, it's
passing, no one moving, just the same things we saw all season. And you just kind of got
yeah.
that thought again was like, what are we doing? Like, how do we keep continuing to come out this way every single game and nothing be different? And
Well,
so,
it
I mean,
wasn't
that was
even
the
just the
story of the first
3-point
half.
field goal. I mean, it was also the 2-point. I mean, we were 8 for 30 from
Yeah.
the
I mean,
like
we couldn't.
just just in field goals alone. I mean, you just couldn't put it in the basket. I think as far as the second half goes, watching when obviously it our team looks better when the ball goes in the go. I mean, any team does. But I think the more important thing for us is how we get the offense flowing and whenever you get good looks. I mean, like when you get good looks because of ball movement and bodies moving, and it's not just passing around, which again, I didn't watch the first half, but I figured there had to be some sort of that going on. That's what we've seen all season long. And that's what there's just we talked about it on our live the other night. We've got to find some consistency. And, you know, hats off to, these guys for the second half. Like, I mean, yes, we've been down, we're tired of being down. And we're not even the players. Like, I mean, I know going in the locker room down 16 is like, here we are again. Like, so coming out, they could have easily laid down. You're on the road. It's a Wednesday night. Honestly, the environment was not great. I mean, it wasn't like, all right, let's get into this. Like we're hearing it all. It wasn't that type of environment at all. So for them, for whatever Pope said at halftime, and whatever they collectively as a group came out and figured out, you know, that's good for on their part. And I think that more than anything, you brought in a little bit more hope in the fan base, and at least it was nothing like what we seen against Michigan State and Gonzaga, where it was just complete. And you was at the Gonzaga game, I mean, just a complete 180 of a team just laying an egg, and not only laying the egg, but just giving up, like not even trying. So that was one thing that I was really, really happy about. But let's get down to the last couple of minutes. So obviously, uh, there's a lot of things we can talk about. Let's first hit on, that shot clock violation. immediately in our group text, Mason, specifically him, was like just so mad. And for the ones who don't know what we're talking about, if you have watched the game and you did watch the game, towards the end, I think, what was it, maybe like 2 minutes
About
left,
2
maybe.
minutes left or so. Yeah.
We had the ball. We got
Think
down
we
late
were
in the shot
tied.
clock. Yes, we were tied late in the shot clock. Otega Oweh gets it, and they shoots it, and the shot clock goes off. Well, you had a little contradiction because the shot clock was still at .1 when you look at the video, but the backboard light was lit up. So it almost was contradicting because from one angle, or actually, I guess you could say almost all angles, whenever the ball was out of his hands, the game clock said .1. I may have said shot clock on accident. The game clock, whatever clock it was, said .1, but the backboard light was on. And from my understanding, if you all had watched the Auburn, what game was it we talked about, Colton?
Auburn, Texas A&M.
The Auburn Texas A&M game, the exact same thing happened. Auburn hit a last second shot to go up by 1 to win the game, and they called it off because it was the exact same thing. And apparently you have to go on what the backboard shows. Like if the lights are on, it does not count. Now, I've not been able to find the ruling on that, but that is what they've said, and I've heard it. You know anything else about it, Colton? Have you? Like, I looked it up again. I can't find
Yeah,
anything.
I don't really know because I didn't really think nothing up. Really, when I guess I didn't really think. Like, I guess in my mind when they were showing it on the TV, I was like, well, this is just the TV one compared to, you always see the scores at the
Yeah.
bottom and
You
underneath
think it's
the
just,
title.
yeah,
You think it's just that, and then you kind of it gives you vibes of like the yellow line in football, right? The first down line in football, but compared to where the actual chain is, right?
yeah,
Even though if they seem to cross that yellow line, it really is where the chain is. Like that's just a TV thing. And so that was kind of where my mind said. I was like, yeah, obviously, like if you look back at the scoreboard, like when the thing is red, it's still in his hand.
right.
So it was hard to kind of argue. Of course, Mason got
Yeah.
into it a little bit more.
Mhm.
I mean, Mason was livid about it. I just didn't know about it more of the. I didn't know
Yeah.
exactly how he was trying to describe it because I was just thinking the other one was like a TV one. I was like, obviously, you would go off the
Yeah.
one that was
No.
on the backboard, but
Well, immediately when it happened, and I knew it was the right call. Excuse me. I thought it was the right call. And it was the right call because of what the rule is. Now, do I think that needs to be changed? Oh, absolutely. That makes no sense to me at all that your clock and the backboard lights are going off like it's not exactly at zero. There's something wrong. I mean, with the technology that we have, something's got to be fixed. And maybe we're not understanding it correctly, but from what I gathered, and the only reason why I know this is because of the Auburn Texas A&M game, because it happened and I read an article about that. But let's get a little bit deeper than that, though, Colton. We shouldn't even been there. We shouldn't have even had the ball still in our hands with 1 second left. And is that something that, is just something you learn from? Is that something, these guys, you think moving forward? Because we really didn't have an exact play. They brought it down. We gave it to Otega Oweh. He done a little dribble, caught it in the corner, and kind of had it for like the last 6 seconds. Like it wasn't even something like he had it forever. I get that you want to get the clock down, but when you're flirting with that 2 to 3 second mark, I mean, I just think you're taking a huge chance because then, I mean, look what happens.
yeah, I mean, that's your flirt. I mean, at that stage, you have to do something, and there's got to be coaches, players. Heck, there's got to be Kentucky fans that were in the stands
Shoot
yelling.
it.
Do something with it. But you can't. Those are just the moments when we're still kind of like, where's the offensive set at? Right? Like, where's something happening? I know
Mm-hmm.
it's not always going to happen, but there's just too many times when we just dribble the air out of the ball. Him, Aberdeen does it a
Yeah.
lot. Like they just like if there's no movement at all, it's just okay, we're going to rely on the last 15 seconds, whoever's got the ball. And the difference is we were so used to if we ever saw that in the time before with Cal, the guy who had it was probably a first rounder, top 10 pick. And now we're
Yeah.
watching guys do it that we're like, okay, this guy ain't even getting drafted yet. He's dribbling for the last 15 seconds of the shot clock.
Yeah. Now, granted,
Um,
before that, though, we need to give credit to Mark Pope because before that
there
play,
was a
out
good
of a
play, yeah.
timeout, we had a good little set where it was a high pick and roll, and then one guy was rolling, the other guy was coming up to the top. So it looked like we had two pops. We either had the alley oop look or we could have the 3-point shot. So it was a good look there. Um, so then let's fast forward. We get to the end where they get that. So then they come down and their player gets foul, which I don't really think was necessarily a foul. I thought it could have went either way because he was initiating the contact. However, though, it is what it is. LSU goes and hits 2 free throws. We come down. Otega Owe gets it and then gets fouled. At this point, I was sending in the group chat. I said, "There's no way we win this game." I said, "We are either going to hit 1 free throw, miss the other, or we are going to hit both and they're going to come down and hit a last second shot or something." Well, I was completely wrong, and I'm happy I was wrong because Otega Owe did make 1 of 2. Then that was to tie the game. So then, or no, was that? Yeah, that was to tie the game,
He
right?
he needed to make both to tie, and he only hit
Yes,
one.
that's right. He only hit 1. So then LSU gets it. We foul them. Dude misses both free throws. But I want to talk about what was more impressive to you, Colton. Was the pass or not even the shot, the catch, and how Malachi Marino, I mean, like, talk about high IQ, talking about catching it in midair. This is not a guard either who has the ball in his hands, who's dribbling all the time. Catches it in midair and is already turning. I don't know if you've seen like the slow video, but to me, that just is like, okay, this guy knows, he knew exactly what he had to do. So, what was more impressive to you if you had to pick one?
I mean, I would say probably. I mean, the pass was awesome, but at the same time, there's a lot of kind of more luck that goes into the pass than there is
I agree.
the rest of that. Because I mean, if you listen to the press conferences, that was not the play that they set up. I mean, Chandler
Nope.
threw it, and it just happened to fall like that. And it also has to be like the defender kind of has to like miss it. And what happened? He missed
I
it.
was
I
so.
mean, he just straight went. I mean, he just missed it.
Did you hear
So I
though the
mean,
press conference? Like, you know
about
what I was. I'll let you finish it, but I was so confused because do you hear what was their backup plan? Did you hear what their backup plan was, or what their first plan was? They said if you
yeah,
overthrow Owe,
but Oweh was on the
Was
other
no.
side.
I know.
Yeah,
That's why I was sitting
yeah.
there. I'm like, what is? I'm so confused.
I feel
But
like
go
it was
ahead.
meant. I feel like it was meant to say. Well, I think what was probably meant to happen is Oweh was supposed to be running like pretty much do a crossing at half court, and before he
Mm-hmm.
got to where he was coming like across half court, he like he didn't get to, or they like double teamed him or something, and so then just he threw the ball up to where Moreno was, like towards the Moreno's area, and I mean, obviously got it. I mean, I was more impressed with the shot because I will say, even though it's not the prettiest, and I'm not saying he's an elite free throw shooter, he
Is that
does,
67,
yeah,
68%?
yeah, and that's pretty good. I mean,
No, that's good.
for a big man, and so he does have a pretty decent touch. I'll give him that. He plays like an old school center, which is what I like about Moreno. Like he uses his physicality, his actual big body, because I mean he's a big man. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
he's muscled up, like it's not like he's a Wemby or a Chet Holmgren, like he's a 7
Yeah.
footer that's actually like muscled up, and he's got some decent touch around it. Yes, is he a little slow? Yeah, he can be a little slow footed, so it's not like he's going to just absolutely do a quick spin move around you. Like that was the best part about like Oscar. Oscar needed about 2 inches, but Oscar was so like quick footed. That's why he got so many rebounds. He could just
Mm-hmm.
beat you to the spot and get the rebound because he was so much quick on his feet. Moreno was not necessarily that, but he is like an old school big. So the touch that he had on that shot, just to be able to the
Oh
coordination to
yeah.
turn around and do that, yeah, I think I was more impressed with that than the pass.
Well, Marino's hair gives him another like 4 inches.
Oh yeah,
So he's probably he's
yeah.
probably listed at
But
like 7'5" 5. I know not really,
Oh
but I mean, I
yeah,
could easily see that because his hair like is so poofy. But talk about a Kentucky kid. I've said it before, on and on. Like I was so wrong about him, so I'm pumped about that. I would
yeah.
at this
I
point,
would
I
say
don't even want to get too excited because I'm like I could see him go. I know this is a loaded draft class, but like if I'm an NBA scout, like I see the potential already. Like so it's like what's he going to do? Is he going to come back and try to be like a for sure lottery pick? He might be a lottery pick right now. I don't know. I mean, at one point, like a couple of weeks ago, I'd seen that he's like 28, 29. Now, if that was true, which I don't know if it was, I'd say he's flirting with the teens right now, like higher teens. But it's just, a lot of it's a fit. Like who are we wanting to get? But let's not even get too much into that. We'll have time to do that. Colton, big question here is does this take pressure off of Mark Pope and does this team have life?
I'll say. Did you see the Baltimore Ravens GM today when they asked him about if if that Ravens kicker would have made that kick against the Steelers at the end of the year to go to the playoffs if John Harbaugh would have still been the coach, and the GM answered, he said, for one more week. That's how I feel. I feel like it takes the pressure off Pope for 1 week. Because look, you're playing your rival on Saturday at their arena, and they've not been playing great. Now, granted, I think everyone's like, yes, this is a tough game to go into and win. However, in the last 3 or 4 years, it seems like when we go to Tennessee as big underdogs, I'm not sure what the spread will be. I got a feeling it'll be probably somewhere around like six to
I'm gonna
seven, if
say
I had to guess.
yeah, I was gonna say
It,
8 or 9.
I think it'll be somewhere. I don't think it'll be quite double digits, but I think it'll be somewhere between like a 7 to 10 or 6 to 10. So like every time, but now we've managed to come out of Tennessee with wins in the last 3 or 4 years, going into these games as double-digit underdogs. So I will say this: if you happen to go in there and you get killed or something, then yeah, because right now we're hanging our hat on coming off of two SEC wins back to back. That truly, you're probably talking about two of the worst. I mean, two of the probably the bottom five SEC teams, if you want to be honest with you. What'll probably finish is, I mean, LSU is now what 0-4 in the SEC.
Yeah,
Mississippi State has Josh Hubbard, but they do not have a whole lot else after him at all. I don't. I got a feeling that they are not going to finish very high by the time the season's ended. So I mean, we're celebrating because we got wins, but
yeah.
I think the pressure
See,
is
I
off for
don't.
right now because the reason I think the pressure is off for just a little bit, is because the effort that you talked about. Because
Yeah,
people, I feel like, just saw that the effort was, meaning that the kids did not give up on Pope, they didn't give up on the fans, they didn't give up on the university. They continued to fight. So obviously, he had a message that resonated enough to cause them to do that. And so I think it does take a little bit of a pressure off. But now, and you gave a little bit of hope, right? Like you gave me a little. It gave me a little hope that if we go into Tennessee, like DB said last night, we go into Tennessee and win that game.
I bet.
I mean, we're feeling completely different. Now, do I think the ceiling is still a certain thing for this team? Yeah. Do I look at them to see a championship team? No, which is disappointing. But does it mean that do we start all of a sudden thinking, yeah, hopefully we're going to make the tournament instead of hopefully I don't see a way where we make the tournament.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. So I mean, I maybe it's off of him just a little bit. We'll see the Tennessee game.
yeah. For me though, I feel like if we go into I don't see any scenario other than if we go into Tennessee and get beat by 20 plus that the Heat is back up on Pope. Like I just don't. I think if we go get beat by 14 or 15, for me, that's how I am. Like, I'm not going to be like the Heat back on Pope. I think the Heat gets back on Pope if he comes and he doesn't win against the Texas and the Ole Miss. Like, that's whenever, like, it's like, okay, here we are. The temperature's back up to 100 again already. Like, those games that you just cannot lose with the team that you have right now. But so speaking of Tennessee, let's get into that real quick. keys to going into Tennessee. We go into Knoxville this Saturday, which will be tomorrow. This will be released on Friday, but tomorrow, Kentucky right now again is 11-6. We're 2-2 in conference play. Hey, we're literally just one game out of first place in the SEC. How crazy is that? I mean, like, just if all we had to do was beat Missouri and we're tied. I mean, that just is so aggravating. Tennessee is 12-5 on the year at 2-2 in conference play as well, not playing their best ball either. So when I think of, there's a couple of, keys, but the first big key that I immediately think of for Tennessee is we cannot start slow. We cannot do it. And the reason why I say that is you can't start off slow in any game. But when you look at a Tennessee road game, a Tennessee road environment game is nothing like an LSU road environment game. The Tennessee road environment game is going to be more like your Alabama road environment game. When we went to Alabama, we came out cold and we made a good little run, but it's just not enough. You just can't do that. You can't conquer at the end like you could at LSU. LSU's environment was down. It's just not the same. And especially with it being a rival, it's Tennessee and Kentucky. It's blue, it's orange. It's Hick versus Hick. I mean, like it is there. It's always like that, which leads me to my next key, which is probably one of your keys too. Is we just got to be physical. This team is very physical. They average 13.2 offensive rebounds a game. That's ranked number 2 nationally. They are like us. They like to get out and run. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's my 2 biggest keys to this game. You cannot allow yourself to be down early, and you got to be physical. Colton, what are some of your keys to this game?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much touched on them, but one, you can't get stuck in half court offense. Uh,
Yeah.
Defense is, I mean, their defense is gonna be good. They're physical, like you said, like their defense is their strength. And if we know how much our half court offense struggles, and not having a point guard, true point guard. So we can't get stuck playing that the whole time. So meaning that what that means to us is we have to be an elite defensive team. Oway has to be a great defender. Moreno has to be a rim protector. Um, we have to have some really good defense that will turn into transition offense so that we're not constantly getting stuck in it. Because I do think that if you can do that and get off a few threes and actually stay hot like you did in the second half, and maybe your shooting is turning around, if you can do that, Tennessee, once again, their kryptonite seems to be when you've watched them this year. When they struggle the most, is they can't score. They don't shoot the ball the best. They just don't have elite scoring, and that's normally been Tennessee, right? They just are very good defensively, but eventually they run into teams that score, and then they don't have the offense to catch up. And
I think
so, I mean, that's what you have to do in order to get out in front of them.
so. I think going into this game as well, one thing that I immediately thought of is I foresee this game being, from a defensive perspective for Kentucky, is it reminds me a little bit of Mississippi State. Just a little bit. Now, I think they have a little bit better offensive, but okay, so you have their leading scorer, their point guard, Jacoby Gillespie. You have Josh Hubbard for Mississippi State. At the end of the day, I think when it comes down to it, if I'm Kentucky and Jacoby Gillespie is the one who's getting up the most shots, I'm going to let him do him. Like, he's going to get his. I'm not going to let all these other guys, though, be the ones who beat me. And I think that we've done a very good job against Mississippi State when we played them is, yes, he's going to shoot shots. Hubbard shot shots. If we can just bring the shot selection down just a little bit, and whatever shot selection he chooses, make it difficult. Just make it difficult, because you're not going to completely take the shots away from him. But every time that he takes it, it's a contested, and it's something it's not comfortable. I guess is a better word. So, I mean, do you see that at all? I mean, I just don't think that you can let these kind of teams let everybody evenly amount. Like let Nate Ament go off, let Jacoby Gillespie go off, let I don't know all the other players, but like I feel like if you can just limit those role players, and even though Nate Ament's not the role player, but you all get what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I mean I think that's a key because what killed us against Alabama was obviously their guard play, right? We let their guards kind of get we played underneath screens, so they shot the lights out. But even then, like our guards went by and got to the basket, and then they created shots for other ones. And then the next thing I know, like you've got other parts, whether it's the center or the power forward or the three guy, all of a sudden they start getting theirs because we can't guard the guards. And so if you're not guarding Jacoby Gillespie, uh, then you're going to allow him, not only him to get hot, but he's going to create for the rest of the team. And so if you can kind of either just kind of let him get his only with the focus on the other guys, or I mean, you've got to find a way to shut him down. So now I don't know who that is because we don't necessarily have the most elite perimeter defender. Always probably our best in that form. But I don't know that he'd be guarding the ball like that, and I don't know that you'd want him guarding the ball like that because of foul trouble. Like obviously, Owade's got to stay out of foul trouble now. I mean, that's just the guy that we
Yeah.
have to have on the court going forward. But yeah, it's just honestly, I don't think it's a bad matchup game. Bad matchup game is Alabama. They've got shooters, we don't.
Yeah.
Yes, we did go 8 for whatever in that against LSU, but that's Alabama does that the whole game. Right, that's just who they are. They got multiple shooters. We don't have multiple shooters. We can't really guard that many guards. Tennessee, the way that they're built, really is kind of similar to us. They're not surrounded by a ton of shooters. They pride on being athletic and kind of physical, and maybe they have a game where they get hot. But other than that, they just kind of pride themselves on playing good defense and then scoring off of transition baskets because of their defense. That's pretty much how we have to play to win now. And so I mean, I like our matchup as far as like don't feel like we're undermatched a ton against Tennessee, but now
Mhm.
they probably would struggle. Like we probably can struggle more at times on offense than what they can.
Yeah. Colin, if there's two teams that I cannot stand, I mean, like, I don't know if I think it's like even playing field probably. It's not even our in-state rival. It is Tennessee and Duke. I cannot. I mean,
Oh yeah,
when I refer to this, I don't mean it like sincerely to players, fans, but I hate Tennessee and I hate Duke. I mean, I just cannot stand. So if there's ever a game that I want to win, and it feels so much sweeter when you win on the road. Now, it feels great to win at home, but, like, when you go in like, we've already had a couple of Tennessee fans that are already like, because we have. I mean, we've had some pretty good luck. Now, that luck may change tomorrow. But man, I
oh yeah,
cannot stand we've done a whole segment of, just most annoying, "Run on Rocky Top, woo, Rocky Top,
yeah. I mean, I'm like
Tennessee." I
you.
mean,
I mean, the thing is, I think I kind of lost. Look, obviously, I can't stand Louisville either, but I kind of lost a little bit in Louisville when they had those couple just absolutely terrible years.
I
I
know, I
mean,
have too.
when they had those couple terrible years, I almost felt bad for them to the point that I was kind of actually happy when Kelsey come in and kind of got them back to rolling last year, just because it made it more interesting. Whereas like Tennessee is constantly like a good team in football and basketball and whatever else, and so every single year it's like going to be a tough win whatever you're in. Um,
Well, it's
especially
just
when it
like
comes to
every
basketball,
year
because we know football is kind of, we're not going to be the most competitive in football against them. So we need basketball to be
that
like,
is until Stein time, though.
I hope so. I hope so. I saw that we were maybe getting another guy in the portal that's a top offensive
Yeah,
like portal guy.
he's rocking and rolling. All right, well, let's get talking. Speaking of football, go
Yeah.
take it away.
All right. So we're first off, let's get started with the college football BCS national championship game is this coming
Mm.
Monday. And who would have ever guessed? I mean, obviously, everyone knew it was going to be these two teams when the season started. The University of Indiana Hoosiers coming in at 15-0. I'm pretty sure. 15-0. And the Miami Hurricanes, the old school Miami is back. The U, and it's being played. Guess where? At Miami.
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock Cafe Stadium. I mean, at Miami, they're playing, and that is going to be Monday night. You're talking about a physical game. You're talking about history on the line for Indiana with the new NIL era and how good everyone else can get and how tough it is to just maintain like dominance. You're talking about a team that is the most losingest program in history. And within 2 years of the Kurt Signetti era, they have made the playoffs the first year, and they are undefeated, been absolutely dominant, and looking to win a national championship at the University of Indiana. I mean, it should be a good game. Miami's got a very good defensive line. Carson Beck has a chance to go out in style in winning a possible national championship with Miami. Mario Cristobal is a good coach too. I expect a very physical game in the trenches. This one's going to be interesting because Indiana has been dominating everyone in the trenches. Miami's got the guys in the trenches to hold with that. Now I don't know about the rest of the skill set, but it'll be a great game. I'm going to take Indiana because I just think they're going to outscore Miami eventually. Um, I'm thinking Indiana 27, Miami like 23, something like that. What do you think, DG?
First I was counting up how many games Miami has played outside of Florida because I remember us talking about that.
Oh yeah, no,
They've played 6 games outside of the state of Florida this year, and they're 13-2, so they'll play 16 total games. So that's kind of wild that they're going to play 10 games at home. Well, before I tell you my prediction, I'll tell you my prediction and this at the same time. When Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers win this game, there will be a movie. There will absolutely be a movie about this. Now, I don't know how soon it will come out. We may be long gone, but I mean, these are the kind of movies that you look at that, like, okay, for example, your Coach Carter movies. Like, Coach comes in, makes a complete 180. Remember the Titans. Like, those are the movies that I'm sitting here thinking about. Like, I don't know what this movie is going to be called. Obviously, it can't be Hoosiers because that's already a movie.
yeah,
But but it might be Hoosiers 2.0. I don't know what it might be. But I mean, just the way that he come in and has made this program at the very top, and that, and I love what we've kept talking about is the best thing about this, especially coming from a Kentucky fan, is it's not unrealistic that could be us in a couple of
right,
years.
right, yeah,
Like that's the best part about this. And it's not, first off, yes, you got to have the right coach to do that. But it's not impossible because of the landscape that you can land these players. Now,
uh-huh.
obviously, Signetti was able to bring in some JMU guys. He was able to get Fernando. Like he had a lot
Yeah.
of missing pieces that
And
he was able to bring
if
in.
if you look, they were in the top 10 this year in NIL money. So like,
Yeah.
yes, they are getting a very high amount. Like Mark Cuban is a graduate there, and and donated a bunch of money. Um, so yes, they do have quite a bit of an NIL, but I mean, look, the guys that they brought in, it's not like they're bringing in the guys from Bama and
Hmm.
oh, like, Fernando Mendoza played where? California or something
Yeah, he
like
played
that?
at
Cali last year?
California, I think. Uh, where did he play? Or
I, th-
where did he look it up? Or
that, I think
Fernando.
I want to say it was California.
But anyways, while I'm looking it up, so I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I know it's gonna be physical, but I also think it's gonna be high scoring. I'm gonna go with uh, Indiana. I'm going 34-21. I think it's going to be a high scoring game with Indiana Hoosiers capping it off for the perfect season. So, I mean, what do you?
Well,
And while I'm looking this up, in what scenario could you see? Or let's also real quick though, let's not skip over the Carson Beck story. Talk a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
about that. Let's
yeah.
not forget about that.
Well, I think it got lost a little bit. Obviously, he left Georgia. Everyone, the way he kind of looked at last year at Georgia when he had lost Lad McConkey and he had lost Brock Bowers. He looked not as good because going into his last year at Georgia, like they're projecting him to probably be the first QB overall taken, and then all of a sudden he looked terrible. He went through an injury at the very end of the year, and then he decides to come back to college, go to Miami, goes through some drama because of who he was dating there, and then all of a sudden they split up, and so you know, he started out kind of, you just didn't really know what you were going to get because of all the stuff
Wishy
that
washy.
followed up. Yeah. And then, Miami started out hot and he was doing well. It wasn't like he was just putting up elite numbers, but he was being a very solid QB. They beat Notre Dame to start the year. Then all of a sudden you have a loss at home to Louisville,
Yeah, that was a bad one.
and you
And
in
he threw
which you
like 3 or 4
throw
picks.
three or four interceptions, and everyone's kind of like, all right, that's the Carson Beck we like have come to know here in the Lakes. And then you go on the road and you lose at SMU, and you don't play good either, but you play very good coming down the stretch. And in the playoffs, you not that you've just absolutely lit it up, but you've played what
You've
you
done
needed to
enough.
do. You've done enough to help this team because you are so good in the trenches that if you just don't make errors and make the correct plays, you allow your team to be in every one of these games. So I will say that what's the scenario in which Miami wins this game? I don't know what the spread is. If I had to guess, it's probably like an Indiana like 5 or something like that. Probably like
I don't
Indiana
know the
5 to 7,
spread.
maybe. Probably maybe it's 7, 5 to 7, maybe. I don't know. If I had to guess,
Indiana is favored by 7.5 to 8.5
yeah,
is what it says right now on
yeah.
Google.
So I mean, the scenario in which Miami wins this game is that I don't feel like Mendoza has. Penn State is about the only game. Like the Ohio State game, somewhat, but even Penn State was probably the only game where they actually had to be put into a pressured moment this year. Like for the most part, they've killed everyone. Not saying that he hasn't had some times like, but I think getting to Mendoza uh would be the best chance. If Miami's defensive line can cause like a strip sack or cause a
Yeah.
deflection that causes a turnover or two that can change momentum, to me that's they're about their only chance, I think, of actually being able to pull this off.
Yeah, and it's hard to do against Indiana. They've been like pitch perfect almost all year, like you said. It's hard to
Yeah.
beat whenever the teams don't make mistakes. That's what you count on. This team doesn't make many mistakes, and it's hard to capitalize. So, and if they do, you better capitalize. Real quick, he did play at California, so that takes care
Yeah.
of that. Let's do about 5 minutes of the NFL, so we can talk the last 15, 20 minutes of the PGA drama going on right now. So, real quick,
Yeah. So the NFL also playoffs started last weekend, wild card weekend. First 4 games that were played, 2 Saturday, the first 2 on
elite.
Sunday. Elite games, 1-score games. You had a shootout in the Rams and the Panthers, and Stafford being Stafford and Puka Nakua pulling that out, just being dominant. So they got a big win there. Then you had an epic comeback from the Chicago Bears. They were down 21
Yeah,
to
shout out
3
Mason.
against the Packers. Sorry, Mason. I mean, Packers choked it away, just absolutely choked it away. But I mean, it's what the Bears done all year long. Literally, they come from behind and won in the last minute, literally all year long, and they continue to do it. Then Sunday, the first game, right off the bat, Josh Allen gets his first road playoff win, obviously because every other road playoff game had been against Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes out, so it's nice. But that was a great game too. I mean, I thought both teams were very good. I thought the Jaguars were actually really good. Trevor Lawrence made a
Yeah.
few mistakes, but Josh Allen put on Superman cape. I mean, he was unreal. I mean, he took over the game, and they have a lot of injuries. And did you see him? He went through concussion protocol. He like hit his finger on a helmet and like almost like it looked had to hurt, and then he like had a hyperextended knee, and yet he just was
Yeah.
still dominating. And then you had
Another
and
injury
then
was
you had the
George
Ford,
Kittle with the
yeah,
49ers.
and then the 49ers, what a very gritty win to go into Philadelphia in that
To be
environment.
down
Don't
that
have
many
George
guys
Kittle.
too.
I mean, they've been nothing but injury prone, and yet Kyle Shanahan is a beast. I mean, he is an unreal coach. I mean, he gets the most out of his teams at all times. Christian McCaffrey is still just a dominant utility, like running back, just overall all-purpose player. Brock Purdy continues to, I mean, being the Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah,
So
he
I,
kind of is
shout
kind of,
out.
I think, kind of like Carson Beck, honestly. Like
Yeah,
he
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 does
just
what he
does
has to do to
enough.
make the plays, 100%. And that listen, you can play quarterback for a long time if
That
you
plays
do
you a
those.
long ways. Yep.
It does. Obviously, the last two games not very good. More defensive domination. The Patriots dominated the Chargers. Justin Herbert had zero time, but still winless in the playoffs. So the questions are going to be raised a little bit on Herbert. But Patriots look good. Drake May looks good, and then you had the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers possibly playing his final game get absolutely dominated by an unreal Texans defense. I mean, their defense is,
They're
historical.
legit.
I mean, they're the real deal. I mean, Rodgers just, he looked cold, he looked old. I mean, I don't know
The
what he's
gray
going to
was
do.
gray.
I don't know what he do, but look, it caused the great Mike Tomlin, the longest tenured coach, stepped down. Following the
John
game,
Harbaugh gone too.
John Harbaugh gone. I mean, there's so many
Going to the
coaching
Giants.
things game. So, but anyhow, so let's just get to a few pick'ems for this week before we get into the golf. But we have the Patriots taking on the Texans, hosting the Texans. Who do you like in that game, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans. I think defense is absolutely insane right now. I think Drake May he's rookie year going to win his first playoff game. But then whenever you see that type of defense coming at you, it's just a little different. I know they got home field advantage. It's going to be cold probably. But yeah, I think the Texans, like we said, it's historical defense right now. They're tough. I mean, and all that. If CJ Stroud can play anything up to his capabilities like he did his sophomore
Right.
year, like they're going to be really dangerous. And obviously last year they dealt with some injuries, but and not CJ himself, he's dealt with some this year. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Texans.
Yeah, you know what? I really want to go with the Texans. I really do because defense travels no matter how cold it is or the environment. Defense always travels. But man, I think I think I like the Patriots a lot. Like I think they're more well rounded than I
Hmm.
believe. Like they just don't have the biggest names and people just kind of don't think anything of it, but they just have a lot of really good players all over and so I just think that as an overall team they're very good. I'm going to go with New England because it's at New England and I think they just found a way to just
Yeah.
barely outscore them. All right, so the next game in the AFC is going to be between you have Josh Allen going on the road again to the number one seeded Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, this is an elite defense also playing in Denver,
Yeah.
different altitude. Sean Payton, obviously a great coach. Who do you like in this one?
Uh, I'm taking the Broncos. I think it's just going to be too much for Josh Allen to overconquer. He just doesn't have the weapons around him. And the Broncos have had the week to get healthy, stay healthy, prepare. Um, yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos.
Yeah, man, it's another one that I'm kind of like, man, I want to take
I want to
I
take the
want,
Bills. I do. I do want to.
I want to take the Broncos because I'm the same way. I think that Josh Allen doesn't have enough weapons. I will say this though, Bo Nix has struggled about. If there's anything the Bills defense can do to help out Josh Allen, it's that the Bo Nix has struggled against zone defense all year long, and the Broncos or the Bills are one of the top like three teams in zone defense this year. So I could see a Bo Nix like nervous type game. I could see them also being a little rusty, not playing
Hmm.
the first week coming and you're playing against Josh Allen. So like right now, I think I'm gonna say it's Josh Allen's time to make it. Patrick Mahomes
I
is
hope
out of
so.
that, and I'm going to say it's Josh Allen's time. So I'm going to go with the Bills. So we got to the NFC side. We've got the Rams heading on the road to Chicago, where it's supposed to feel like negative 10 degrees with a possible 20-mile-per-hour gust. Matt Stafford, I think, is 1-8 in like bad
Yeah.
weather or below certain like temperatures. Obviously, he has an amazing arm, but this is going to be a challenge because I mean it's going to be just completely different weather than a guy who played in a dome his whole life. Uh, I'll go first here though. I still like the Rams. I just do. I think they have some decent defensive players that can cause them to keep, and I think that I think Nakua and look, Devontae Adams played in the cold weather in Green Bay a long time. Puka
Yeah.
Nakua is just an absolute beast. So give me the Rams still.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. I think that, you can only go so far whenever, like, you keep talking about the Bears all season winning at the last minute. Like that's gonna at some point that's not gonna work out, especially when you hit a good team. Not that saying the Packers weren't a good team, but all year long, the Packers have been up and down. The Rams when fully healthy, they've not been up and down. They've been very consistent. So I give me the Rams. I think they go in, get the dub. But yeah,
Yeah. And then the final game of the NFC side, probably the one that's going to be probably one of the more watched games because of the rivalry and in division. The 49ers head to Seattle. Uh, they played the last week of the season for the number one seed. Seattle obviously won, so they get the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I'm just going to take the Seahawks here, just because their defense. I don't necessarily trust Sam Darnold, but I think that their defense in that environment, the 12th man or the 12th man in Seattle, it gets so loud there. And I just think that the 49ers ultimately aren't going to have enough weapons in that game. Like the Philadelphia defense, or I mean, the Philadelphia offense helped the 49ers by not being like they
yeah.
kind of not being elite enough to score a lot of points. I do think the
hmm
Seahawks have enough offensively to score too much that the 49ers can't get into like that type of shootout.
Well, that's the same thing with me. What it comes down to me, like, and that's why I went with the Broncos instead of Josh Allen is
Yeah,
you have to surround yourself with weapons. And when looking at the 49ers, they have weapons. It's just it's limited right now. So like going into that, the Seahawks are game planning for a ton of
Christian
run. Like, I mean,
McCaffrey.
that's
Yeah,
really that's all they got. Yeah, he'll catch some screen passes here and there, but like,
but
so
it's him. I mean,
ultimately,
that's just whether it's out of
yeah,
the backfield catching
that's
or whatever. But
right.
everyone has to focus on him.
Exactly. So that I'm for that reason alone, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. So, but again, it should be a bunch of good games. I'm looking forward probably not even for the game itself, but the weather at Soldier Field in Chicago more
Oh
than
yeah,
anything after seeing it today. But hopefully, it's going to be historic. They said as far as playoffs goes. So, looking forward to that. Let's get into our last segment of the night. So, the first time we are talking golf for a while. The PGA Tour season is back. It started this week in Hawaii, Honolulu, or however you say it. I don't even know, but it's
yeah.
in Hawaii of the Sony Open. But that's not even the biggest news. The biggest news is coming from Brooks Koepka. For those who keep up with golf, who don't know what golf is, stay tuned. You want to listen to this. Hopefully, you might not find it intriguing, but if you're in the golf world, it's pretty crazy right now. So, Brooks Koepka, this was a past PGA member, 5-time major champion, multiple PGA Tour wins. He left to go to Live and is returning to the PGA. He officially does that under the Player PGA Tour's new returning member program, and he is eligible for that for multiple reasons. The one, because he won the 2023 PGA Championship. And in order to be eligible for the returning member program, you have to have won a major or the Players Championship between 2022 through 2025. I think this is hilarious. Kolton, that It's only then. And the reason they are doing that is because there's 4 big names that they're trying to get back. And that's really the only 4 names that are qualify under this. They're the only 4, which I think is hysterical. Now, if I miss any of these, Colton, let me know. In order for Brooks Koepka to come back, now remember, he left the PGA Tour, was offered a ton more money.
Was one of
But
the
there is
founding like
some,
guys that left for Live too. It wasn't like
yes,
he left
absolutely.
later on. Like he's one of the ones that first ones that left when they was like the Phil and DJ and Kepka.
Hmm. But in order to return, there was some restrictions. So he had to forfeit the PGA Tour Equity Program earnings for 5 years. He estimated financial sacrifices ranges from 50 to 80 million plus. He's not eligible for the FedEx Cup bonus money in 2026, and he is required to make a 5 million charitable donation. So it's not like he's just getting to come out free. I mean, he's having to pay a big cost with time and money. That's just it is what it is. But you should have never left if that's what you was wanting to do. So Kepka right away is able to play. I think his first one's going to be the Farmers. But let's talk about this real quick though, and then we can break it down. So Kepka coming into this season on his last 2025 live season was very inconsistent. Didn't play well at all. He recorded only 2 top 10 finishes all season on live. And then his best finishes included a runner up in Singapore and 1 top 10 finish in Adelaide. And then his major championships, yeah, he did win the major championship in 2023. At that point, he was on live. He was the first player to come over. Him and Bryson both have won a major being live members. However, though, this past year in 2025, he missed the cut at the Masters and he failed to really contend at any of the other majors. Um, Obviously, what this does for the PGA Tour is you have players who they have different feelings about this. But speaking of who this is targeted to, obviously there's still the stars: John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and Cameron Smith. I heard that Cameron Smith is not going to come. John Rahm's not going to come. I don't think Bryson's kind of wishy washy, but it's leaning more towards he's not going to make the move. I think, but this is a big get for the PGA Tour, I believe, but it's also very it's more maybe so for the name rather than the play. Now, do I think the play can get there if that makes sense, Colton? Yes. But just talking about what's your feelings about this whole situation? Just lay it all out there. You can take it wherever you want.
So to me, the biggest thing was like of all the players that were on that left the PGA to go to live, I feel like we always was kind of like we feel like Kepka wants to be back, right? He's the one that didn't. He still wore his Nike stuff. He didn't wear the team outfits. Uh, Anytime you kind of asked him, he was always kind of, I don't really want to do that, Like he would never just be like, man, I love it here. This is just the best thing. Like he just never fully bought in. And the thing is with Kepka, like even though he didn't have like a great year this year, and yes, he probably was very inconsistent. A lot of that could have very well just been from him, like legit not caring. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a new kid. He got married not long ago. Like that's always been Kepka's like forte is like, hey, he turns it on for the majors, the rest of the tournaments, we don't know what we're going to get, right? I mean, he is a generational player by winning 5 majors. My biggest thing is, I think this is the first domino to really fall in live ending. I really believe that. I truly believe it because I think that Bryson has to be under contract for this year. And I believe that when next year comes around, that the PGA will open this thing up again with the same qualifications, or it ain't. There's nothing in the thing that says this is the only time it's ever going to happen. I think they'll open it up. I think Bryson will come back, and I think that Bryson, if they decide, like if Bryson wants to do some things and they decide not to let him, he'll just do YouTube golf. But I think he will leave live because I don't think that you're going to see any more big time moves to live. I really don't. I think that the money that the PGA Tour has bumped up, I believe that the way that they're going and leaning and the stuff with the TGL and just everything that happened, I think this was the first domino to fall. And I think the moment that Bryson DeChambeau decides to probably leave next year, I think it'll be done. Rahm, I think if he wasn't under contract for like probably 2 or 3 more years, he would probably also because I think he's probably realizing the traditional. And I think they'll start to develop these programs that allow. Then it'll be from major winners from 2022 to 2025. Then it'll be PGA Tour winners, and it'll be
Yeah.
these things. I just eventually think it's going to be. I mean, they haven't moved anyone. They got Ben on, the 99th player ranked in the world. Is literally the only player to go across and sign with Liv this season. They just released Kevin Na.
Yeah.
They tried to get Siwoo Kim. They tried to get Sung Jae. Neither one of them. They turned it down. They tried Ashke Latia, turned it down. I mean, everyone's turning it down now. Like they keep thinking they're going to just win people money, and now I think the players are kind of like, okay, look, we're making a lot of money here. Legacy matters too. Like now, I might as well just stay.
Yeah. So here's my thing with it. I think when just specifically talking about the 4 stars, Bryson DeChambeau. Well, I mean, there's more stars, but just relevant stars. I mean, you still have Dustin Johnson, who was a star, just he's not relevant. You have Phil Mickelson was a star, not relevant. You have all these other guys, but the 4 biggest guys on Live: Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Jon Rahm, Cameron Smith. And this is to go with the rest of the field too. Out of those 4, though specifically, I think whenever I'm looking back, Brooks Koepka had a good reason. And I know it sounds crazy to think, but here's why. Let's keep in mind. Brooks Koepka was coming off multiple injuries, was not playing well, did not have a following really. Consistently being asked, are you going to ever get back to your old ways? I mean, you just watch what's the Netflix documentary, First Swing, or
For
what
some,
was it?
or yeah, Full Swing.
Full Swing. If you watch Full Swing, I mean, he like kind of gets emotional. Like he doesn't cry, but like he didn't think he was ever going to be able to play again. So yeah, at that time, it made sense. Like it made perfect. Like, hey, dude, come over here. We're gonna give you all kinds of money. And he was about to start a family. I think he just got married or was about to get married. So like, yeah, I mean, he was going to, and like at that time he also had beef with Bryson. Like, I mean, it just made sense for the guy. I mean, and I'm not going to like down him for that because I mean, like for his future, like he was going to set up to where he was going to be financially stable and be good. And by doing that, yeah, he started playing well again. He won a major. Like now obviously he's not played well. But then I'm not gonna down the fact that Bryson DeChambeau is another guy that I look at, and it kind of makes sense because, and the reason why I say it, now his is for a different reason. Everybody hated Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson DeChambeau was kind of a jerk. Now I loved Bryson DeChambeau, even when he was like built up. Bryson, I was a big fan, and y'all know that. But nobody liked him, and everybody thought he was a villain because he was doing, and he was like the scientist guy who was taking golf the wrong direction and whatnot. And Bryson DeChambeau, like, sure, if nobody likes me, I'm gonna go make all kinds more money. But during that process, he grew. He found himself, and not only did he find himself, the fans found a love for him. He found a new way of connecting with people, and which leads me to this is the perfect time to come back. Brooks Koepka, he figured it out. He was able to play. He's made the return. Bryson DeChambeau, more than anybody now, is who everybody wants back. I mean, even so, the other two, and Jon Rahm and Cameron Smith, it still baffles me. It makes no sense for those two because you talk about Jon Rahm, talk about legacy, yada 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 yada. Boom, I'm gone. Cameron Smith at that time had just came off of winning the Open, was playing phenomenal golf, could take over world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, and then he's gone. So like those two make no sense to me at all, other than money. But Bryson and Brooks make sense to me. I think that's just my opinion. As far as what this does though for the PGA, man, I agree with you. I think that it's awesome. You see people like Rory who's saying like Brooks is an awesome guy. if he can get it back here, which we've got him, that's great for golf. But then you have people like Wyndham Clark. I don't know if you've seen the statement where he's like, he doesn't know really how to feel because he gets the cake and the icing, or he said he gets to have the party and
He
the
gets
cake,
to
whatnot.
he gets
Uh,
to he gets to have his cake and eat it too. Like
yes,
it was
yes.
all
And
like yeah.
like, I don't think it's wrong for him to think that. I don't. I mean, because like
No,
some
yeah.
part of you, you got to be like, oh, foot, like I could have done that. I could have went and
Especially him, he won
got,
the US Open.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so I mean,
So what would be your feeling if you was a PGA player, which is like, how do you feel about this whole thing? And then we'll call it a night.
man, it's just for the younger guys, for the guys that have been kind of grinding on the tour for a while, and the ones who like that's constantly are between that like 100 to 120 slot, right? That are like literally trying to make their living out here. Like they haven't won ever big. They haven't just like they made enough money to be like an okay living, still be a
Yeah,
professional golfer, but they're still having to grind. And then you just kind of have a guy who went and made hundreds of millions of dollars. And like these guys, they probably got offered. Now, granted, some of them didn't, but some of them could have went and got at least enough money that probably would have been as much or way more than they had made their whole career while on the PGA tour. But I can see. I think my feeling towards it would be they're making more money on the PGA Tour now than they ever have. Yes, it is a little more centered around the best players in the world, but this is a business. This isn't like you want to be the best. Like not everyone gets promotions
right.
at work. There's not everyone the president of the company. Like if you want to do it, you have to be the best. Like that's just how it is. This isn't participation trophies. Like you don't get to be the 150 best player in the world and make top five money. That's not how, I mean, look, that's every single sport, right? I mean, right now your Reed Shepherd is not getting paid the same as Kevin Durant. Like it don't
Right.
like that's just how
Makes
that goes.
sense. What drives
So it just to
business?
me exactly. So to me, yes, there's going to be some mixed feelings about it, but at the same time, he's won five majors. If you're sitting over there with maybe one PGA Tour win at some Barracuda Championship or something like that, and he's won five majors, then I don't think you really have much of a place to talk. I think you should just be happy that everything that's happened with Live, because the one positive that came out of Live was that the PGA Tour players are making a lot more money now than what they were.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. And what makes me think of this, and I'll close on this today, I had to write like like what do I want my goals to be for my quarter to date attainment for sales, and then we had to like break it down. How do we get that? Uh how many scripts do we have to have? And then it also said like, how are you going to go out and do this? And I literally wrote down on this paper or this document, I said, I will attain this by, in quotation mark, feeding the studs. And then I explained, what does that mean? I got that from Will Stein. I love it. Feed the studs. And what I was saying was like, I'm going to go where the business is at. I'm going to go to my top riders. Like that's where I'm going to go. And that's the same thing with what they're doing right now. They're going to feed the studs. They're going to feed the Brooks Koepka. They're going to feed the Bryson DeChambeaus before they're feeding all these other guys who are on live, and even the PGA Tour players that didn't leave. Like like you said perfectly, it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, and that's what it is, and that's what's going to come down to, whether you like it or not. You want to be the best, gotta beat them. So, hope you all enjoyed me and Bulldog bringing it tonight, keeping it down. Mason, hopefully, will be back with us next week. But hey, guys, I never want to leave here without saying thank you all for listening. Me and Colton was talking on here before, like looking at views, how many we got on YouTube, Spotify,
Yeah,
Apple Podcasts.
we should be
Like, share
approaching
this with
their
people.
1 year, right? I don't, or we're
Yeah,
pretty
we're getting
close.
really
If we haven't,
close. Yeah,
they're like our 1 year.
we
So
may
I
have
mean, yeah,
already.
we may have already passed. I can't remember. It was either January or the beginning of February, but either way, we are very appreciative, as Dylan said. I mean, when we first started this, we just talked in our group chat. We literally would just kind of, hey, we love talking about it together in a group chat. Let's put it on a podcast real quick and see what happens. it's grown to where you all are helping it grow. The participation we love on the lives and the views, the shares and the comments. We love every bit of it. We want to keep continuing to grow with you guys. So continue to watch it, continue to share, continue to tell people about it. We love doing it, and we couldn't do it though, or wouldn't want to do it any longer if you guys weren't continuing to engage with us. So
Absolutely. Without you all, there is no podcast and there is no cats. As always, though, go cats.
go cat.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.